Okay, got a few viewers. Sorry about that, folks. I changed when I updated my stream. I updated it to start Saturday instead of today, so I quickly had to close that one and go and open another. So that's probably why there's a few people confused. I was confused myself what that was going on, but there you go. Hopefully, some people will get a notification that we're up and running. Dear me. Let's have a look. Hey, how you doing, bud? Yeah, my apologies there. I'd set my stream for Saturday the 15th instead of Monday. I just automatically did it for the next day, hence something didn't work properly. So hopefully we'll get a few more come over. I think you guys generally get a notification if you were subscribed. So as you've noticed, there's a change in my charts. So I'm looking at the CL and the S&P 500 2000 tick, as you know. I usually do, but I've also added the NQ 1000 tick up here. That, quite a few people are saying they're trading that and they're having some success with it. So let's see how we get on with this anyway. I'm just wondering whether there is like a... let's have a look. In fact, we keep that or do we get rid of it? Let's get rid of it for now. Yeah, so I'm just wondering whether there is like a spike in a channel here. So my apologies if you're still coming in. I set my stream up for the next day, which was Saturday, obviously. No one here Saturday, so when I selected it, it didn't work. Something didn't happen, so I had to sort of redo it quickly. So hopefully there's a few coming in now, so hopefully you guys will get the idea. Let's have a look what is going on here. Are we actually in a range? I don't think we are at the moment, really. I think this is more... let's have a look. I'm not too sure about that either, to be honest with you. Have we got something larger up here? Yeah, not sure about that. Okay, has everybody rolled over to September? I had a notification this morning. I think Mac mentioned it, didn't he? Okay, there is a second entry short there, but I'm just not getting involved in this. It could come down, but if we are ranging, it could bounce and then push up. So I'm staying out of this at the moment because you just never know. Speedy, you're in this trade, that one there. Yeah, hopefully it works for you, mate. I'm just not sure at the moment whether we're more ranging and we're coming in and bouncing and pushing up. So I'm not sure at the moment. It's holding, so I don't think it's terrible. You always look at the failure. Yeah. I'm just not sure whether we're in a downtrend or whether we're in more of a side. We've had a leg and a leg, a push up, a leg and a leg. So, but it is working. I think you'd have got 2 points out of that now, wouldn't you? All close to. I hope you do, mate. Let's have a look. So if you got in there, not quite. This was my concern, that it's going to trap some shorts. You got your 20. Good on you, mate. I can't take the stress. Yeah, it's not easy, mate, is it? I got to say, I haven't got the patience to hold on to a trade longer than I should at the moment. I just want to get out, to be honest with you. That's very tempting, but it's a fair old chunk in it. That's a big ass bar, that is, isn't it? My eye's beating so. Yeah, I think the best thing to do, mate, is initially just take a few less, split it up into 5s or something like that, and just take your time a bit. Just try and do it so you can manage the stress. But yeah, I know what you mean. I think the last 3 trades I've taken, I got out for a point or a point and a quarter, and it all went for 2.5 points plus. But if you've, like somebody mentioned the other day, I think it was Philip mentioned the other day, if you paid a lifetime license, there's no rush. So start off slow until your nerves can cope with it. But that's the trouble, mate. That is. Yeah, the trouble is the more accounts you get, it does get a bit like that. But you can split it up. So there's always options. But yeah, I feel like a bit of a boy in a man's world I do at the moment. Yeah. See, I've been looking at this. I have. There's a second entry long there, but the bar's big. And is it bouncing off here? Or is there some, or am I going to get trapped? If there is any type of a break there, it could be a double trap. See, it's triggered that, stopped them out. It's triggered that. It could come down and stop that out. I kind of think it won't, but I'm not risking that much. Not a chance. It's a big bar, that is. I think the risk is over 3 points. Let's have a look. Yeah, load over. Yeah, it's realistically, I think it's 3.75 points. Now, in layman's terms, to me, that's $3,700. I ain't risking that. Not a chance. Slow, not just fit. Yeah. And maybe if you get a loss, mate, and you can't cope with it, get away from the screen. See what I mean about that now? See, I'd have been in there. I'm just not sure whether we're in a range or we're in a channel with a break. It's a bit hard to tell at the moment. And while it's a bit hard to tell, the best thing to do is just to stay out of it. Because it really could go up or it could come down here. I really don't know. See, I'm not sure whether this is even a channel. Is it? Is it not? I don't know. It might not be. It's just a couple of legs. We could have a push up, a couple of taps at this, and see if you'd have taken that one. If I'd have taken that one, I'd have been shit myself now. So I've learned as sometimes if something looks okay, just have an extra look at it. But it's a little bit unsure here. Sometimes we'll get multiple traps. There was a second entry short there, which it's looking like it's coming down, but I think what it probably is just 2 legs for now. And we could have 2 legs up. So you've just got to be careful. Trouble is we could go 1, 2. We could trigger above this and have a triple test and come down. You got to be careful there. It's triggered one. It hasn't stopped that out, but it could trigger that one and then come straight down. See, so far we're coming down. We could go once, twice. There could be a triple test here, and it may trigger those. Same again. It's a big bar, and unless it's really clear, I'm not getting involved. There's probably going to be some shorts there. I mean, look at the size of it. It's 14 ticks. Tick above, tick below, 16 ticks. I'm not risking over $4,000 on that trade. I mean, it's a nice looking bar. You'd think it would probably work, but probably ain't good enough for me at the moment. Yeah, just sitting tight at the minute. I'm not sure it is a channel. I'm not sure what it is.
Order filled. Stuff
Oh,
filled.
you little shit. Sorry about that, folks. I've got my stop and that way too tight. I've just took a trade and lost $50 quickly. I've got my profit and that way too tight on this. I jumped in and it hit me stop before I had time to do anything. Take a loss. GAT is going to take me out of the game. Yeah, okay. That's good, mate. That is. It's good to have that.
Order filled.
Oh, let's try this again. Come on. Right below there. Come on.
Target filled.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's got some of it back here. I went short there. It went up, stopped me straight out. What I was doing is catching this failure on a limit order, and I got in about there, and I went to put me stop there, but because I had my let me just make sure I get this right. So if I sell
Order
that on
filled.
sim, yeah, I've got that way too tight. Where does that need to be?
Target filled.
Oh, that's not helping me any good. What is my on 1,000 tick chart? What is a rough idea to put your stop? Does anybody know? What I did see, I like that it came down and came back, so I jumped in here for a limit order on the failure, and it moved straight across, pushed up and stopped me out before I had a chance to move my stop up here. So my stop is just, where's my stop need to be realistic on 1,000 tick chart? 30 ticks? Well, let's have a go. Let's go 30 ticks and go 25. So let's try that. So if I sell that, is that a reasonable enough size for that? It's not really, is it? I can't see what that is. Order line decorator, 90. Let's do that at 60. It's off the chart. I can't see where it is. Still not right, is it?
Target filled.
60. Let's do that at 40.
Order
I'm just
filled.
playing around. That's better. I can see where it is now. So 150, 120. So it needs to be a little bit more than that, doesn't it? So if I do that at, say, 40 and do that at 30. Okay, so let's close that.
Order filled.
Sell
Order
that.
filled.
Is that the average risk? I suppose it is, isn't it? At least it, yeah. Okay.
Order
Brilliant.
filled.
See, why can't I just have a little bit of practice and make $400 on an account instead of typical, isn't it? So that's about right, isn't it? So 40 stop loss, 30 profit. So what will that make me on one contract? Let's just try it once more.
Order filled.
That'll make me 150 and 200 risk. So I'd rather go for a little bit more than that. So if I take that up to, say, 35.
Order
I can't stop
filled.
making money now.
Order filled.
175 and 200. I want a little bit more than that. Let's go for 40 and 40. So let's close that.
Order filled.
That's about right. 200 risk, and I've got time to move me stop, I think. Maybe let's do me stop 5 more ticks. Okay, that's about right, I think. Let's close
Order
that.
filled.
Okay, what sim was this? This was 63. Sorry about this. It's all right. What I'm going to do is I'm just trading
Order submitted.
one account on this. Just one account.
Order cancelled.
And the rest on 9 on this, or 9 on the CL and 10 on the ES. Let me just, yeah, okay, so I need to just move this borderline decorator, so that's 60. Apply, okay. That is 40. It's okay. Otherwise, the price is off the chart and I can't see it, so hopefully that'll be a lot better. Okay. Yeah, sorry about earlier. When I set my stream up Friday, I set it up for the following day, the 15th, which obviously was a mistake. So when I jumped into it, something wasn't right, so then I had to delete that, then restart it, which is probably why some of you were a little bit probably confused as to where the hell I'd gone. So it's a bit hard to say what this is at the moment. Not convinced it's a channel. Having said that, we have had a break and a new low. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a channel. It doesn't look right to me. Maybe. I'm not sure about that. So yeah, you've got GAT, haven't you? So it's useful to have that, mate. It really is. It just covers your arse should things go wrong. It's nice to have 20. I've got to say, if you trade 10 accounts, I traded 10 accounts. I think I made about $2,600 on all my accounts last week. Now, it was a quiet week, and the two trades I'd taken, I only went for a point and a quarter. Now, I could have gone for 2, and they would have worked, so I'd have been up $4,000. But because of the increase, it's just taken me a little bit of getting used to. So, like Philip mentioned last week, there's no rush. If I'm on a lifetime license, I'm in no rush to earn money. So if it means those initial times I may end up getting out a little bit earlier than I probably should, you know, it is what it is. If it still continues to scare me a bit, I may split it up into 7s. But the trouble is, there's no point in getting all these if you're not going to copy trade them and make the most out of it. That's the thing. But don't get me wrong. If I look at people like trades by Matt, he has about $10,000 in his account. Now, don't get me wrong. If I had $10,000 in my account, that would be enough of a cushion to be able to wait for the 2 points. But because I'm slowly starting to build my account up, it's just taking me a little bit of confidence just to get that sort of money, just to get that built up, you know. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? But yeah, look, as soon as I jump into a sim, I make $400 like that. But there you go. So yeah, if people are wondering, is it still me, this chart? All I've really done is, you know, I trade the ES and the CL above, and I have looked at the NQ, but I keep getting people to tell me you really need to start looking at the NQ. They tend to have had much more success when they stop trading the ES and move to the NQ. So I thought I'd get the 3 up here. So I'm trading half me, about 10 on this, 9 on this, and just 1 account on this. So I'm just going to play around and see how I get on. I don't want to give myself too much to do. But what I will find, if this does prove to be successful over a couple of months, maybe, I may even ditch the ES. We'll see. But, you know, I'm here to earn and to make some money. And if I'm finding I'm just sat here a chunk of the day and not getting any type of setups on this, then I may avoid it or put it up here as a secondary chart, you know. Yeah, I'm not sure here. Interesting. Is it up there or is it there? Is this thing still coming down? Yeah, it's hard to say, really, isn't it? Okay, so we may... Let's get rid of that. We may be finding some support here, finally. But yeah, good on you, mate. It's nice when you get to 20. You know what the nicest things? You stop paying money. Because I was just buying tons of evaluations and PA accounts. And all of a sudden, you stop spending money. I haven't spent money. When was the last? I'll tell you. When was the 20th one I got? I'll have a look. This is the last time I paid any money. It was like 2 weeks ago, was it? Last PA, 4th of June. So, yeah, 2 weeks tomorrow. That's the last time I paid anything to Apex. Kind of feels good as well. Excuse me, just a sec. Sorry about that. Right, we look like there's a possible, well, kind of a second entry short, but there is a second entry long on the CL, but I don't like the way we've made like a triple top there. So I'm not a fan of that. It may work, but it may not. It's a little bit congested, so a little bit sideways, so it may work. It may just take us to the tops. It's kind of a second entry long as well. There's not much room left there, that's the trouble. Could have like a... No, I'm staying out of this. I'm just not sure about that. It's a bit of a tricky start, really. No, this looks like a little bit of bottoming to me. Bounced and bounced and bounced again, and then at a higher low. So it's just a little bit early to find out exactly what's going on. See, there's a possible lower high there. We're going to come down. God knows. Possible second entry long. There's a higher low there. At the moment, as much as this looks like it's bottom and you think it would push up, we are still looping down. So I just don't know at the moment. So that looks like it may get stopped out. But at the moment, we are coming down. So you've got a favour that coming down a bit more, haven't you? But because we have just bounced about 3 times here, I'm not getting involved in that. That I don't like. Yeah, not only that, see if this is a channel, which I'm not convinced it is, we're at the bottom there, look where we are there, we're coming away. And we're bouncing kind of 3 times there, which means we could be setting out range lows. So this could get stopped out. But it's not very clear, so I'm just sitting tight. I wouldn't be surprised if that got stopped out. Yeah, you wouldn't. You'd have had to push through, so you wouldn't even got a point so far. EMA is very flat, and it's looking like a little bit rangy, so that could go. It may hold, but for me, it's just way too risky. We've got a little leg and a sideways and a leg. We are bouncing off that bottom, so this may not be a range, a channel, might be a range. See what happens when it breaks above this bullish bar here. You could say 1, 2, 3. If it breaks above there, comes bearish. You could say triple test. But as we've been bouncing off this bottom, and after 2 legs, I think the sensible thing to do personally is to wait. That's going to get stopped out for sure, isn't it? Yeah, so lower high. That's the trouble. See, it's very easy to get trapped there. Unless you got in on the nail, you wouldn't have squeezed a point out. If you'd have got a tick below there, a tick below is there, I think. So you'd have had to push through, so you wouldn't have even got a point. So it's just too dangerous. Leg and a leg, bouncing off this. So I think that is a little probably null and void. But at the moment we are looping down, so I really want to get some sort of upward momentum before I start thinking about a range just yet. It's just unclear. Could be a leg and a leg. There could be still be a channel down. Maybe something like that. That may be a little bit closer. It's just a bit hard to say. If I'll break out of a range, second entry short, sort of leg and a leg. Could come down. It's just so hard to say at the moment. So simple answer is just sit tight, I think. See, looking on that NQ, there's a failure there as well, which has trapped that bull bar. Now it's off. Oh, excuse me. So I would say for me at the moment, this, depending on how this finishes. See, that works, that works, that works. Close enough. Could be a leg and leg. It could still come down. But that NQ looks like it may be pushing higher. And if that goes higher, I dare say this will probably push with it. Yeah, I'm just going to remove that for a minute. Got the two legs down. One attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. This could be kind of a penguin style trade. Push down. Two attempts to go higher. If this pushes strongly down through that EMA, I'd say these bottoms are a likely target, but it does kind of look like a penguin style. Two pushes depend. Obviously, we want it to fail. I don't know at the moment. Anybody else got anything different chart-wise? That's as good as I can come up with at the moment. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that either. So that failure looked like quite a good trade, really, I think. The trouble is, because we're slowly looping down, it's hard to go long, because I'd want to push above this, really, and then come down and retest it and push hard before I started thinking about a range or pushing up, because you just don't know whether it's going to push up a little bit, trap some longs, and then come down some more. That type of trade there, trigger you, and then push up, stop you out. Kane, how you doing? Can you explain the penguin trader? It was a tough one, that mate. Simple. Okay, so yeah, I'm probably not the best person to explain it, but what he tends to do is he trades very similar to Mac. So if you had a channel down here like this, and you had a break and 2 attempts to push higher and back and something like that. 2 attempts to push higher, something like that. He would be looking to take a short. Now, you've got the what he tends to do is waits for it to push, to fail and push through the EMA. So let's say that's the EMA. So let's say we've got a channel down here. Let's make it actually look like a channel. Where's the path? Yeah, so let's say we got something like this. Channel down there. It's actually not bad drawing for me. Let's say he's got a channel there, okay. Looking for a channel there. He's looking, when we have a break, to make 2 attempts to go higher and then fail. So as it starts to push through that EMA, a lot of the time, from what I've seen, is he waits to get it on a limit order for a pullback before it pushes out and he gets out before the lows. So his trade, let's say it pushes through the EMA and he puts a limit order, his stop will go there and he's looking to get out before the bottom there. That's kind of how it works. And there's also the same way. We have a break, 2 attempts to go lower, and he waits for it to fail and push up to go long. So you need to watch some of his videos to get a better idea, because I'm probably not that good at explaining things. But that's pretty much the gist of it. 2 attempts to go higher, push through that EMA, let's just say that. And then if we can get that pushed down, as it pushes through that EMA, then it comes and has a pullback. It's a good indication it's going to be going down, and he just gets out from there. So it's a little bit more risk, but he never takes less than a 1-to-1 unless, you know, something starts to go sideways and he may decide to go up. But that's generally the idea. And also, you know, the other way, he kind of, as I say, I'm probably not the best person to explain, but go and watch some of his videos. And on the other side of it, he'll wait to have a break and the market to have 2 attempts to go lower. And if it can't make it lower, same again, he'll look for a long trade. He'll look for it to fail and push up above the EMA. Because generally, I think traders generally try something twice, and if it doesn't work, they tend to give up. So we've got a channel down there with a break, and it's made 2 attempts to go lower. And usually, if it fails to go lower and pushes up back through the EMA and comes back for a retest, he picks it up on a limit order and tries to get out before the tops. That's the general idea. If there's any of you penguin traders out there and I've just murdered it, I do apologise. But that's the general idea. But go and watch some of his videos if you want to get an idea. But it's kind of the same as Max. He's looking for 2 attempts to go higher. So it's like a second entry short. But he doesn't take that single bar. He waits for it to fail and push below that EMA first and catches it with a pullback. So I hope I've done that justice if there's any penguin guys in the stream. But yeah, none of these strategies it can explain in 2 minutes. It just doesn't work that way. You can get a general idea, but it's very similar to Max. It's just a little bit of a sort of a lot. So if we had this channel down here and we had 1-2 attempts, we'd be looking for a short here. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's more slightly on a larger scale. You get a little bit more time to think and decide what to do. So it's got its merits, but watch him. He's very good at what he does. He started trading Max, and he's obviously just picked this thing up over his experience. But you know, I'd suggest that's what everyone will do at some point. When they get experience, they'll just notice things. But yeah, have a look at his YouTube channel. He's a clever trader, actually, very clever trader. Well, I'll tell you what I will say, the volume is low. I mean, there's overnight. So literally in 45 minutes, where's the overnights here? I mean, 45 minutes, we've just had that. That's all. Really, it's not a lot. I mean, you can do that in the first few minutes if the market's sort of moving quite swiftly. But it is low. It's slow as well. this to me looks like it's more lightly ranging at the moment, so I'm going to put that there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is some touches there, and I'm just going to put that there because, in all honesty, I think that's the best I've got. A couple of legs down, a couple of legs up, a retest. A leg down, a break, a couple of attempts to go lower and then up. So it looks kind of like it's ranging at the moment. There's nothing else I've got really. It's not very clear. I thought for a minute we may have some sort of downwards. Maybe we did have something here, but I think in there, my best guess is it's just ranging a bit. So politics is getting excited in the UK at the moment. For the first time in I don't know when, it sounds like the Conservative Party are no longer going to be the opposition. It seems like Nigel Farage and his merry men are. I think people have had enough of the Conservative Party. What with all this sort of migration and the boats and all this sort of stuff, they've just done nothing really. But this is just it's quite big in politics at the moment. I've liked Nigel Farage for a while. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but he tends to just say it whether you like it or not, you know. But I think all my life really, we've had either the Conservatives or Labour, either one of those, and the other as the opposition. But this is the first time. I mean, we had a collaboration some years ago with the Lib Dems and Conservatives, I think, but you like him. I like him as well. He has a smoke, he has a beer. He doesn't just do all the nice stuff. He doesn't just tell people what they want to hear, I think. But the good thing is he's getting himself on all these breakfast shows where all these mainstream, you know, Labour and Conservative politicians avoid like the plague because they get ripped to pieces. But he's getting his face out there and he's saying his stuff. He's not frightened to hold back. He tells it like it is. The trouble is with all this migration, people don't want to seem racist. People don't want to seem this. You know, the answer is you can't just keep taking more and more people because the country is struggling. The NHS is on its knees. It's crazy. It's crazy. The money people have been paying into, you know, with national insurance and the tax system, it's just being handed out. We're taking boat after boat in. They're being put up in hotels. They're being given spending money. They're being given free dental. Christ, you try and get a dentist appointment in the UK at the moment. It's a nightmare. You know, put it this way: if I got my wages on a Friday and I started giving some to me mate, some to me wife, and some to another mate, and I started saying to you by Wednesday I'd run out, I've got no money, you'd call me an idiot. So why don't you pace yourself? So you need to start thinking about how much money we're giving out to people who are coming into the country. You know, I understand, you know, some people want to make better lives and all that, but the trouble is they get into Europe, go all the way through Europe just to get to the UK. France is a perfectly safe place. There's plenty of safe places in Europe, but they all seem to head here because we're a soft bloody touch, because our politicians haven't got the balls to say what needs to be said. So it's going to be quite exciting over the next sort of couple of weeks. I think the election's on the 4th, I think, of July. So it's getting quite exciting, actually. I've never been massively into politics, but over the last sort of 5 years, it's, you know, exactly. The trouble is, you know, I know there's things like racism and all this sort of stuff, but sometimes you just have to say these things. You can't keep your mouth shut and be frightened to say things. You know, you go into London today and it looks so different. And, you know, we've tend to like our culture. You know, there's a lot of things that we've said we can't do because other people get offended. I mean, I think there was a guy selling poppies a couple of years ago and he was asked to stop because he was offended. You know, that's something we've been doing for donkey's years, ever since the sort of First and Second World War. It's not racism, is it? No, you know, I want it to look like it is. You know, I mean, I understand religion and all this sort of stuff. But sometimes when people are very religious and you mix people who are not religious, they can clash sometimes. You know, you can't put, you know, cats and mice in the same room the majority of the time. They're just two different people. But, you know, you want things, you know, we don't want to lose all our buildings. You know, I'm being careful what I say. You should do a political show, absolutely. I think seeing these things that you've grown up with and wanting to keep them and wanting to keep our values is not a bad thing. You know, like Nigel Farage says, there is an increasing number of young Muslims that do not subscribe to our way of life. They don't want it that way. They want to change things. And as far as I'm concerned, if you go to somebody's country, you have to fit in. If you want to do things in the comfort of your own home, that's fine. But you can't move to someone's country and start saying, I don't like the way you do that. I'm offended. I want it changed. I don't like... You can't do it. You move into someone's backyard, you go round to someone's house, you behave yourself. And it's changing so much. You know, I drove through a place in the west, was it in Birmingham, a while back, and there was a sign written on the thing that said no whites, just stuff like that. You know, I know there are decent people out there. I know there are decent, you know, law-abiding Muslims who do subscribe to our way. But, you know, as he says, there is a growing number. You know, you see some of these protests on the streets, deaf to British police, you know what I mean? This is a Muslim society, you know, get out and all. It's just, it's just wrong, really. If I came round to one of your guys' houses for me dinner, I'd take my shoes off, I'd say, yeah, please and thank you, I'd behave myself. And you have to do that. I can't come into your house and say, I'm sorry, I don't like that, I want something else. It doesn't work that way, but politicians are too frightened to say something, really, and it's just wrong. It really is. Watch out, you might get cancelled. Yeah, I mean, I'm even being careful what I'm saying, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to keep your own culture. You know, selling poppies, old men selling poppies on the street that fought in the Second World War. You know, going to a good... How can people say we don't want it because it's offending people? It's wrong, really, it is. My culture's values, which could be nothing to do with Islam, but it gets... Yeah, absolutely. I 100%... You know, there was a guy that used to work in a car park down where I live in Shrewsbury, and he was a Muslim, but one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Just really lovely. There are some decent people out there, but some of these younger people that walk the streets, you know, chanting death to British police and all this sort of stuff that, you know, it's just not right, really. You shouldn't do that in people's backyards. No one's saying you can't, you know, do what you want. You can't, you know. Yeah, it is. It's a shame, really. If I went to someone else's country, if I went to places in the Middle East and I started saying death to this and death to that, I'd disappear. You know what I mean? You can't do it. You can't go into someone else's backyard and start saying, I don't like that, change it, it offends me. That's all I'll say on the matter before I get into trouble. But I'm not racist in the slightest. It does not matter to me what colour you are. If you're nice to me and you like me, I'll like you as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I've never been racist. If you're a decent person and you're nice to me, I'm nice back to you. You know, I can't even see colour, really. It just doesn't bother me. You know, but coming into someone's country and saying we don't want women to have rights, we don't want this, we don't want that, we want Sharia law. You know, I've seen some of the pictures of the, you know, we have slaughterhouses over here and there's certain animal welfares, but when you see a cow put into a vice and it prizes his neck up and you see a guy with a 2-foot sword slice its throat and watch it, I'm sorry. That's not the way we do things over here. We have a certain amount of animal rights. And to see that, it shocks me. You know what I mean? If you're going to kill an animal, you do it quickly. You don't slice its throat like that, you know, a harmless thing. I know you US guys are big into hunting, but you're going out into their territory. You know, you're not after making an animal suffer. But, you know, we've got certain animal rights in this country that I subscribe to, and it's part of who we are. Exactly, Brant. Yeah, exactly. But I saw something a while ago. There was a young presenter, a journalist. I forget her name now. A really nice girl, and she was on one of these marches, and they were saying to this old white couple, they were in their late 60s, out walking their dog. Get out! This is our country. Chanting death to British police and all that sort of stuff. You can't do that. If you go to someone else's country, you can't behave like that. It doesn't work. Yeah, I know there was something wrong about halal meat in some of the supermarkets a few years ago, and people protested that. But, you know, I mean, you know, people like our granddads and fathers and all that, they've fought for this country, for our rights, you know, to have freedom, to, you know, to have animal rights, to you know, so all kids have an education. You know, in so many different countries where women can't drive, women can't have an education. It's ludicrous. And I'm not saying it doesn't work in other countries, because some countries, that's their culture then, but that's okay. But you can't come to someone else's country and start forcing them to change because it offends you. You can't do it. Yeah, I just, it's just hard, isn't it? It's one of those things. Sometimes you don't know what the hell to say, but I believe in I don't believe in animal cruelty. Now, I'm a meat eater. I believe that animals get killed, but I believe it's as about as humanely as we can. But I saw a video a few years ago. They put this cow into this vice, and it literally wrenched its neck up, and they sliced it. It was horrible. And I don't want to see animals panting and suffering like that. Locked in this little vice and that. No, it's not right. It's not something I like, which is why I'm sort of proud of our roots and our heritage. But things are changing, and the channel down is still valid. Good on you, Jeremy. You've taken me off the subject. But no, I like Nigel Farage, and I like he has the stones to say, without worrying about offending, this is our culture, these are our values, and we want to fight for them. I am voting Reform this time of year, and it seems like they're going to be the opposition by the sounds of things. I mean, love him or hate him, Nigel Farage, he's not everyone's cup of tea, and I understand that. But he does openly fight for our values, where so many other politicians, they're so careful about what they say without offending something. They, a lot of people feel a certain way, but people feel uncomfortable about expressing things. No, it's all right, mate. We need to get off the subject. But I do like Nigel. He's a bit of a character. I like Boris, actually. He was a bit of a character. I like people that are a little bit different, a little bit quirky. What are we doing here anyway? So that, I think, is a channel. Looks okay. We've got a touch, a touch, a touch, and a touch. Fits nice at the top, so this is a break. Are we having two legs or going up? Or is this something else? I'm not sure about this NQ, because that kind of looked right, didn't it? Touch, close enough. Touch, touch. Bottoms are fitting quite nice. Sorry. Two legs up and a big strong push down. So are we getting a pull back? And then we're going to get a second leg down here. Trouble is, if we do come down here, the ES will come down. The ES won't go up here, and that'll come down. So it's still a little bit unclear, this really, isn't it? Yeah, so quite a few people have said to me recently about the NQ. I have sort of, well, as you guys know, I had it as a bit of an anchor chart, the 1500, but I did ask a few people on the Facebook group the other day, do you use it, and what tick chart? Because I have had various messages over the last sort of month or so that someone said since they moved to trade in the NQ, they're doing so much better. And you know, someone messaged me the other day. He said people just tend to stick to the ES because Mac does. But you know, as Max said, price action works on any chart really. But it does seem to be getting very popular for Max traders or Pat's traders. So I thought I owe it to myself to at least get it up and have a look at it. You know, sort of trade it, but with its own merit. So I'm just trading it with one account. Just so I've got a bit of skin in the game, and just to so this to me looks like it's pushing up for a new high, and now this is just pushed above the EMA. So I'm having my biggest day yet. Good for you, mates. Feeling the flow and tempted to just keep going. Somebody please tell me to stop. Yeah, I would say, and my honest opinion, if you've done 2 winning trades, I would say enjoy your day. There you go, you've been told, stop trading. I think if you've done 2 winning trades, I think that's pretty good. I would say 9 days out of 10, I only have 1 trade. But I think sometimes you're better off waiting for those better trades and maybe taking 1 or 2. That seems to be the general consensus. So if you've done 2 or 3, whatever you've done, I'd go and enjoy your day, I would. Or at least reduce your contract size if you want to carry on, or carry on a sim if you haven't been trading long. But there's nothing worse than giving back profits. I very rarely give back profits. In fact, if I take a winning trade now, my sort of discipline level just goes up. You'll not often see me take a second trade after a winning one. Or go over to micros, yeah. If you are a newer trader, though, screen time is important. So, yeah, go on to micros. That way you still got a bit of skin in the game, and you can relax a little bit and not have to worry about it. Because I do worry about losing profits after I've made it. I'm good at giving back profits. Yeah, mate, we've all done that, Jeremy. We've all been through phases of that. You think sometimes excuse me a sec. You get a couple of trades in the bag, and you kind of see sometimes losses can have effect on you. Winning can sometimes. You can kind of get a bit too overconfident and think you can't fail. And I think most traders have been trading 2 or 3 years have been through that phase of. But I tend to go extra cautious when I've had a trade, because there's nothing worse for me than giving back. So I'd say, if anything, if you trade 2 contracts, go down to 1 contract if you want to carry on. At least that way, if you do have a loss, you're still in the green a little bit. Do you know what? I'm not sure what's going on here. We've got a channel down here with a break and a bearish bar. The trouble is, it's hard to say. We get this a lot of times, couple of legs, and then we seem to stay within a range. Now, we've been up here a couple of times before, so there is a possibility this could bounce off a possible range top. And this may just be a break or a possible retest, and we may come down, or it could be pushing higher. So it's hard to say, really. I mean, I'm happy with that channel for sure. Did you decide on whether your fund Ninja trading dollars or pounds? I'll trade it in dollars, mate. See, I have a Revolut account, and in Revolut you can change your money backwards and forwards to dollars, whatever currency you want. So it's great for traveling. You know, you ain't paying any fees or commissions. But if I send it from my normal Barclays bank, which I've done before, you get commissions. Your bank will charge a commission for sending it, and you get a commission. I can't remember who does the exchange. You'll get a currency exchange fee. So if I go into my account in Revolut, I can just swap whatever money I want, and I pay current market rate for the exchange, and then I'll just send the dollars. So that way I'm sending dollars to a dollars account. So I should get no fees really. But yeah, you can get stung that way sometimes. Some crypto exchanges sting you as well. I've been stung on crypto.com. I think they're pricey. My opinion is for UK traders, you can't beat Kraken. You just pay zero fees, you don't even notice it. I trade that red section just now, and I was 4 points up and then it reversed. Up there. Yeah. So what did you take that lower high, did you? See, what I used to do is I tend to go for a fixed 2 or 2.5 points now. Well, lately I seem to have lost my bottle and going for a little bit less. But what I used to do sometimes is try and capture a move. So as we push down, let's say you went short there. When we had that little pullback and it started going down, I'd put my stop there so I guarantee myself no risk. And as it continued down, I'd slowly just drag my stop and secure profits. And on the odd occasion, if we're getting close to the lows, we get a quick surge. So a lot of the times, I'd get 5 or 6 points. I was looking at some of my older trades, and I think one of them, I ended up getting 10 points. It pushed down that quickly. So I still think about, should I do that now? Because overall, I think it made me money. But when you are doing that, it is a lot more stressful. And I kind of now, at the moment, like to just put me stop in and put me order in and then just sort of let it run, because it can do really well, that following it down, but it can all, you know, if it goes down say 2.5 points and it comes back and hits your stop at break even, you kind of lost the potential profit, although you're not down, relying on it continuing down. So that is something I think I'll do when my accounts are nice and sizey, where I've got that little bit of, a nice comfortable buffer. I may decide to hold on a bit longer, but while I'm, trying to build my accounts up, I'm probably just going to stick to the 2 points, because it tends to always get 2 points to set up as long as it's a good enough setup. Got your 2 points. Yeah, I just wasn't sure about taking something like that because of this channel. You don't know when it's going to break and push a bit higher. You import all your accounts into your trade? Yes, I do, mate. Yeah. Or just your lead account? No, I import them all, but I'll show you. It does seem like you've got a hell of a lot of trades, but yeah, that's it there. So yeah, I mean, fortunately they're all winners. It looks like I've had a shitload, but it's probably only about 4 trades actually, in all fairness. But yeah, I drag it all in. The thing is, if I trade 10 accounts, I've got 10 wins. But then if I have 1 loss, I've got 10 losses. So it works itself out the same. 10 wins, 10 losses, 1 win, 1 losses. It works out the same win percentage. So, yeah, that's what I do. It's really easy to do that. You literally just click add. Well, after this, what I do is just go into my... you see that down there? Let me have a look. Yeah, down here, if I click that onto executions and I right click and click export and just click save, it saves a file with those trades in. So all I've got to do is import them straight in, and it gives all the numbers and everything. So it's a useful bit of kit, that. Any slight niggle with it is it's always slightly out money wise, not much, a few dollars, but I can never seem to get it to match perfectly. I don't know. I shut down my account here. Sorry about that. I just shut down the wrong window. Absolutely no idea what's going on. Yeah, me either, really, mate. The trouble is, it started to look like it may be coming down, and then we started to bounce. So for me, it looked like kind of rangy. So we've been up here before, and we've been up here. So are we going to have a break and push up, or are we going to bounce off here and come down? And see, the volume is really low. I mean, we're in trading, what, an hour, nearly an hour and 15 minutes now from the open. And we've done that, which is nothing really. So is this a break? See, that could be a small break and a new high. Touch, 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 touch. A little break and a new high. Looks like a good long there. It could be, yeah. But if we've already had a little break, it may trap some longs and come down. So there's kind of a hidden second entry short which is triggered. So I really don't know whether this is going to go up or come down. It's certainly, if that's your signal bar, it's only 6 ticks, so it's certainly quite a small one. But I'm just not sure what's going on here, really. I think a couple have taken it on Thomas Way's forum, but he hasn't. He's left it alone. You took that one, did you? Well, what I'll say, mate, is it's a small risk. It's a 1.5, tick above, tick below 2 points. If you're risking 2 points nowadays and age, it's not a lot, really. My only slight concern is, because of this, is this a range top? Is that a small break? That's the trouble. I've been caught out with a break that small before. And in all honesty, that is only a first entry. You can't class that as a high or low. It's just gone way too far. It's just a first entry, really, that is. It's not to say it doesn't look like a good entry, because even sometimes first entries, when they look good enough, usually work. Why don't you try this indicator? Which indicator are you on about, bud? It's incredibly helpful. Check out direction. What is it, mate? 240 bar SMA. Have a look at it. 240 SMA. Is it here, or have you got to download it? Oh, simple moving average. It should be here, shouldn't it? That one there. 240. Did you say 240? Period. Oh, okay. Is that what you mean, the period? Because it won't let me change that. You're about 240 period, bud, are you? Yeah, 240. It'll be yellow, won't it? Let's change the colour, get it a bit darker. Let's change it to something that I haven't got. Purple or something. There we go. Let's try that. It doesn't hurt to have something new, does it? Period needs to be 240. Does that look like yours, does it, bud? You can see how many is hanging over there. Yeah. Yeah, that's it, is it? 240. Simple moving average. Helpful sometimes. Well, let's give it a go for a couple of days. So that's bounced off it there, a little bounce there. Panda use it. How's he doing these days? Ready for the failed breakout. How's Panda doing lately? I used to watch some of his, but it's not having time lately, to be fair. He didn't do so well at the moment. He kind of started with Max, didn't he? And then went on to. He is no streaming. Oh, he's not streaming at the moment, you mean? He started with Max, didn't he? And then he started talking about Al Brooks, so he seems to have got a mixture of both. But I did watch some, watching him for years. I did watch him for a while, and he had I think he had a count and he blew it, and he took a couple of weeks off and he got slaughtered a bit. I actually sent him a message, and I said, I've looked back on some of your older videos and you actually made money, and it's almost like you've just sort of slipped into a bad habit. So I wished him luck, and that was it. But he did get a bit of a slaughtering for it. You guys can be mean sometimes. I've got to say, I get away with it at the moment. Mac is cut down. Yes, I believe he is, mate. A cut down version of Al Brooks, yeah. What I don't like about him is he uses his own rules. Yeah, he seems to. He does, doesn't he? He's almost sort of got his own sort of strategy, but it didn't seem to be very effective. But I did look back on some of his older videos, because when I first started watching him, he had a lot more green days, but he seems to have 3 or 4 red days a week. So you tend to think if something's not working, you've got to try and look at your... See, once in a while, I still go back to Max and look at some of the older videos. I was with him for a year, and then I had about 6 months off, and I thought it's always good to go back to basics. You know, whatever you do in life, they always say just keep, now and again, go back to basics. So I had another year with him, and you kind of forget sometimes. It's easy to slip habits, isn't it? So at some point I'll have another year, but he does, yeah, he went for a phase of just seemed to struggle all the time. And then he had a bit of time off, but he does work, doesn't he? So it's not like his full-time job. So he's okay financially, I think, isn't he? But yeah, trades a lot of breakout, which puts me off. Yeah, he does. Sometimes I see him sort of. If he takes a short, sometimes it'll get that far from the EMA, and I'm thinking, taking a short that far from that EMA would scare the shit out of me. You've just finished Mac's preying content. Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about, Mac. It's very easy to think, oh, it's not working for me. But after you've been trading a while, you'll start to realise that he teaches you the basics, and the rest, really, you've got to pick up with experience. This is not something you can just show someone how to do. They have to do it and experience it, really, to learn. And it is a lot harder. It does look easy, you know, when you see people taking trades and you think, well, that makes sense. But there's so many times where you'll get tricked and stopped out. You know, you'll think, oh, I've got it now. It's got it sussed, and you'll take a trade and all of a sudden it'll go against you. Now, if you didn't have any emotions, that wouldn't be so much of a problem. But when you're inexperienced, you get frustrated. And I used to be terrible for it. If I took a loss, literally within 10 seconds, I'd be straight back into another trade. It was usually would be the complete opposite. So if I got caught short, I'd go long. But so many of the times, it'll trigger you, it'll stop out your short and then end up going in the same direction. So you end up having 2 losses then. Do you know something? I'm looking at this 2 legs back here. Leg and a leg. It's right, I'm just trading the NQ just on one account at the moment. It's not gone how I thought, but with this channel and the break and the push up and 1-2 tests of these lows, there's almost like a little double bottom there. But no, he is good, Mac. And in all honesty, charging you $125, it's I almost feel like I'm stealing from him sometimes, because it's that cheap. He doesn't make a lot of money off people. I think he's just comes over. He's genuinely happy to help. But no, I don't wish anyone bad luck in this game because I know how painful it is sometimes. But it's another one's just disappeared, and I know Sam's okay. I think he's trading, but he's just not streaming at the moment. But Moomoo's almost disappeared off the face of the planet, isn't he? I don't think he's done anything for 3 months. Whether it's whether he's trading but not streaming, but I know he's big into his runners, isn't he? Big into his running. So whether it's the season that he's doing all his running, that might be a bit why. This is hard to read, isn't it? This is. So is this the top of the range, and this is just making attempts to get up there, and it's going to fail? No idea. This CL is bouncing off that line. It's done it again, look. Trouble is, what I find is as soon as I decide to get in, I get stiffed. Those rollover days are always a little challenging. Has everyone rolled over, have they? We've gone over on the CL as well. This goes monthly, I didn't realise. But I like the way Ninja Trader reminds you. You got it marked the same as me, bud, have you? Yeah, it's a bit hard to know what's going on, really. Yeah, I'm just looking at Thomas Wade's chart. He's got exactly the same. No channel, just bottoms here. That's what I like about that forum is he puts pictures on regularly. So if you're not sure, it's just nice to know someone else that's experienced. You can see, you guys see my chart, so you got your chart and mine, so at least you got two different opinions. Then I tend to not, but that's why I kind of like being part of this forum, because I can look, and he's pretty much he don't like me talking so much about it, but I'll just show you quickly there, but pretty much got it the same as me. But I know he's been trading about 5 years longer than me. Okay, so this is now looking like it's going to make a new high. I look there, but you just can't take that, really. The bar's not brilliant. It is a bit congested. Do you trade, fell, breakouts and pull back? Yeah, if it's clear enough, bud. Absolutely, yeah. As long as it's clear, I'll trade it. See, it's today's difficult. There's not a lot of volume, and the trouble is, if the market's not moving reasonably fast, it's hard to get a sense of direction. Sometimes if we're like trending up, what I tend to find is it'll push up strong, pull back a little bit slower, push up strong. It kind of gives you a sense of direction. Okay, I was looking at that actually, 2 legs down, but the signal bar was a bit naff. So we've got this channel up here on the, what's that, on the NQ. Channel up here with a brake. Push above the EMA. We've had sort of 2 legs down, and this looks like it's working up either to break the tops or to have another leg. So I was looking at that, but the bar's a bit naff in it. It's kind of neutral, really. But I kind of like the 2 attempts to go lower. The trouble is that we're near the top here now, and we're at the top here, so excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Oh, just looking at this this CL at the moment. We kind of had a bit of an overshoot. There is a failure there, but 3 touches of that line, isn't there? Yeah, I'm kind of glad it's finished naff. May still work. I mean, you can't deny it's working along that line. It's working nice at the midline. Trouble is, the bar's crap. Okay, so this looks like now it's heading for the top here. It's just a shame something like that wasn't a little bit more of a stronger bar. So I'd say we're heading for these tops, so I'm quite happy to get rid of that. Okay, that's Ciales has pushed up. What have we got? So I'd have wanted to get out there. I just don't like this. It's a bit congested. These bars are, well, that one, slightly neutral. We have had a push up, but it could come back. Could have a leg and a leg, it's so hard to say. Okay, so that's the thing with that. Looked like a nice channel with a break, but it was a channel which just turned in itself. So it's just, sometimes you wonder whether there is a top, because we've had a channel which is just turned into a down channel, all of a sudden pushed strongly out of it and gone up. So we're a tick away from points there. I like the fact that we had the 3 touches along there, but I just don't like this. We got this little overshoot. We could come up, drop below there, and then push. So I just didn't want to trade this. It's a bit congested, a little bit sideways. The thing I liked about it is it's clearly touching along there and along there and there. So it kind of looked good. But that was just a little bit unnerving, that picture there. So that would have been where I'd have taken the profit. 100 times 2 contracts, that would have been $200. I think we'll probably hit it. So we're bounced off it there, more or less. Yeah, okay, so that would have worked. I was very tempted. I just didn't like that. You got to say that it's a little bit congested. Excuse me. Oh, it's all right. So this clearly played out. So I can get rid of that now. So we've had a leg and a leg. Nice 2 measured legs. So clearly ranging at the moment. So what are we going to do here? We've had a leg with a break and a leg. And on the NQ as well, measured leg. Two legs up, so we get a leg down, 2 legs up. So let's have a look at this one, see if we can get a lower high to take us back to that EMA. The NQ looks nice as well. We've got a little bearish bar up there right at the matching high, so I think there's a chance this could come down to the EMA. Just got to be careful you don't get trapped. So I'm leaving that at the moment. Just going to sit and watch it. It's actually a very small risk, that. But my experience of taking them, I tend to get stuffed. So I don't just take it now, wait for the lower high. Oh, double top. So we are, oh no, tell a lie. Assuming this is all-time highs up here.
Order submitted.
Just looking at a setup on the NQ. No. It's kind of a lower high.
Order filled.
I'm worried it's going to come back.
Stop
Come
filled.
on. I get there a little bit. Do I get there? Not much. Why don't that do that? That's strange. I think I got about $50 or something, didn't I? Something crazy like that. To look back on that, for some reason it won't let me plot this. It's not coming up for some reason. Plot execution, I don't know why. Strange. Was it about $250? I think I got about $50 or something like that, I think. Strange. uh, it's hard to know whether this is going to come back with a lower high. You don't know whether we're going to get second entry long and that's going to push further up. Failed to see how it can actually. Let me have a look. Yeah, I think I got $50 on that one. I'm only trading this on a single account, just for one contract, so it's just a smaller amount, just to get a bit of a feel for it, really, rather than make anything as such. Oh, excuse me. So I'm just going to mark that. Sorry. As a sort of riskier trade. I never took it, but I looked at it. I do like the fact that there's 3 touches there, which I think is encouraging. But if you look there, it's clearly touching in all the right places. I just didn't like that bar. It just put me off a bit. But there is a little channel there, which is what looks like an overshoot, and it's bounce to bounce, bounce. So you could even say it's kind of like a triple test. But in all honesty, like Max says, 3 more bars above, and it doesn't get any more congested than that, really. There is 3 bars, clearly right at the center. You'd probably expect that to work, but if I've got doubts like that, a bit of a mixed picture and a bit uncertain, I'll just leave it alone. This thing doesn't seem like it wants to stop, does it? Let's have a look over the last few days. What have we seen? Actually, is there a channel of some sort up there? Kind of. So, just incidentally, hopefully, we've got this 71% off at the moment, 35% on resets. It ends on June the 19th, my birthday actually, so which is Wednesday. So hopefully we get a better discount. Whether they'll go back to the 90% because of the problems with people trading them on the news, which seems to cause problems. If you noticed, as soon as they stop that 90%, these problems have stopped. So whether that has something to do with it, which is not good, because obviously we want the bigger discounts, but 80% is not terrible. But hopefully we get the 80%. See, I'd love to have the confidence of trading 20 accounts, but I'm just the trouble is, if something goes wrong with the Rhythmic, and it may be me and half a dozen others, and Apex says we're not doing nothing because it isn't widespread, I'm screwed. Losing all 20 accounts, I'm screwed. I can't deal with that. So as much as I'd love to, if Apex said to me, look, as long as you've got it on video and you've got proof, we'll set your account back, then I'd trade all 20. But I can't. If something does go wrong and I lose all 20, I am screwed. I'm back to square one, and I ain't going for it all. I'm not going for it all again. It took me ages to build up to 20 accounts, and if I lost them from some sort of technical problem that wasn't my fault, I don't know about throwing my monitor out the window. I think I'd be throwing myself out the window. So at least if I trade half of them, at least I've got a potential wage then, see. And while I've got 10 at least, I can be fighting to get the others back. It's so slow, isn't it? You can't really even trade that back into the range as a breakout, because we've only been up here once before, and it's pretty strong, isn't it, at the moment? So this thing could carry on. Okay, folks, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. My mouth's dry, and where's my break? There. And it's just so slow today, isn't it? The volume is really low. I'm not quite sure why. It's moving. Usually when it's moving, it's showing us some sort of direction. But it's very slow. I mean, where do we open? We opened about here, so having that, in what? How long have we been going for? Hour and a half? Nearly 2 hours. That is very little volume for 2 hours. But okay, so I'm going to make a quick cup of coffee. I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. I missed anything, have I? Have we got something larger? Yeah. Can actually count from the top or the bottom. So, you can count them from the top and you can count them from the bottom. Let me just find an example of something. One push-up, two push-up, first entry, second entry. So you can, am I explaining that right? You can count them from the bottom or the top, really. I tend to not even think about counting so much. After a while, you just tend to look at a trade and like it. Because all counting is really, and all second entries are, is just two little legs, two attempts to do something. But we call it a second entry, but really it's just two attempts to do something. Let me try and find an example of it. Okay, see this one on here. Where are we? On the NQ. We've got this little leg down, two attempts to push up. So second, I mean the signal bar's naff, but it's the same sort of principle. We've got a little channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, and it comes down. So effectively, if that was a nice bearish signal bar, it might, the context isn't brilliant anyway, but it's just really two legs. But yeah, if you count in the bottoms as well, first entry, second entry, first push up, second, but so it's a bit hard to explain it sometimes. I'm probably not the easiest to explain, but all a second entry really is just two little legs, two attempts to do something, which fails and comes down. Market does stuff in sets of twos, really. We've got a leg up and a leg up. Always doing things in twos, leg down, leg down, leg up, leg down, leg down. And that's all we're really looking for is two attempts to do something with to make an attempt to somewhere with a signal bar. Have a look at this. Yes, you can, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. There is a second entry long there. Only slight concern is, yeah, I'm just not a fan of this. Leg down with a break. Yeah, I'm just not sure about this. Little channel down there, first entry, second entry. Could be a failure here, could be a long failure, may trap this one. We've still got some space down here, see? And it's just not pushing up in a hurry. I hate it when it goes slow. nothing worse than getting into a trade when the market is really slow, especially in a 500 tick chart. It is working up, and it's working off that midline. Trouble is, at least there, I didn't like the bit of congestion in the bar, but at least we were actually at this main key entry point, which we kind of are there, but it's just something I don't like about this. And I usually sort of use my gut feeling, and usually it saves me more than it doesn't, if you know what I mean. There's a little channel there with a first entry. Could trap the longs, and a failure trapping some longs. It may work, but I just don't like this space here. So you do get used to just seeing something, because when you get trapped enough times, you'll start to identify pictures like this, and something just won't feel right. It's hard to put your finger on it sometimes, but I mean, it's a second entry long in an uptrend. You could say we've had a little break out the channel and a new low, which we kind of had, but look at all this space down here. So if I'd have gone there like that, that's almost the only thing that will save me there is the uptrend. But we got too much of a space down here for that not to. But little channel break, it is a second entry. But you'll just get used to seeing something that just doesn't feel right. Hey lads, how are you doing? Did you get your gift from Apex? I've had two actually, mate. I had I've had two t-shirts. I had one when they first did it, which was what was about 2.5, 3 months ago, and I got another one about 2 weeks ago, I think. A couple of t-shirts. They won't send me the hoodies because I live in the UK. I'm assuming it's quite pricey to send a hoodie to the UK, yeah, but I did, mate, yeah. So yeah, I've had two t-shirts. Very nice they are. Yeah, so that's CL there. Look, little second entry long, clearly working up. Nice bullish bar, sat on there, triggered, stopped out. You do get used to just looking at that and thinking it just does not look right. But look at this. The bigger picture, look at the bigger picture. Touch, 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 touch. On that midline. So there's two things I didn't like there. One, I just don't like the look at this. It just looks trappy. And two, we've got this space here. And so many times it'll trigger you, stop you out, and then bounce off here and end up going up. So excuse me just a second. Sorry about that. Parcel delivery. Boom, boom. Let's have a look here. So possible Sort of hidden second entry along there. Possible kind of failure there as well, but it's congested, so that makes it so much more riskier. Going to give that a bit more colour. Tough one here. I'm not sure whether I like that as a channel. We have got a touch, and a touch. Trouble is, if this is just ranging, it's gone a bit too far for a breakout for me. It's quite strong. But if it is a breakout, there is kind of a... It's gone a bit too far for a lower high. I consider that sideways with a push down and a lower high. But I'm just not a fan of this at the moment. That to me is a break. That fits that nice as a channel, but it's coming away a little bit. So well, second entry long on the ES setting up. It's not really giving us much here, is it? See, it's possible it could come back into the range. The measured leg was about here. It is pushing up, but there's nothing to tell us it's going to do that. Yeah, it's frustrating when it does that. It's sitting where it would work nice. Couple of legs back, but just no signal on, nothing. No indication that's going to push up, just went. Now let's see if this... we could come back here, bounce, get a lower high, and this could come down. That's always a possibility. Let's see if it traps that thing. I wonder. See if this is trapping someone. Sometimes it'll do that. Push, push, push. Come on, follow me. And then it'll finish like that. And you'll get another bar and it'll do the same. Come on, follow me. And then it turns. I'm not saying it will, but I see that a lot. I'm looking at that NQ. There's be some traders trapped there for sure. That bar there, that bar there. It's congested, which makes it more dangerous. So if I took a trade like that, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say. This thing could just flush down. Yeah, I know. I hate going long when it's slow. Trouble is, it's probably going to work. It might be okay. But sometimes when it slowly grinds up there, it comes down so quick and has a flush down. Now, there's going to be some traders in. I mean, we've pushed high anyway, so I think it's okay. But yeah, I hate it when it's slow. I wonder if... let's put that back. Or is that going to... you just never know here. This could come down. Could be a failed breakout. It may not be a channel. Or it could trap shorts and push up. Even so, I wouldn't go long that far from the EMA. It's just risky. Could do it either or. Shit, we're still going up. Yeah, it's certainly possible, mate. Trouble is, I won't want to take a long that far from that EMA. It's art today. It's very messy, isn't it? Sometimes there's no sort of plan, is there? It just looks very random, which makes trading so much harder. So, is this trapping loads of longs? It could be. See, that could be 2 legs down and a higher low, but it's tough on that. And when it's moving slow, it has got a habit of just flushing up or down. See if this is ranging, and it looks like it's ranging. It could come back in here. Look at that now. And when it's moving slow, it can be dangerous. Could be a second entry short. It may go up. It's kind of a higher low, but it could be a second entry short. This may come down and trap a load of longs. It is a second entry short. It's actually technically a lower high as well if it does come down. This is a trap. I think this is going to come down. I don't like the way it goes over by 1 tick. So if you took that second entry long, higher, low, that's going to stop you out there. I'll be amazed if that doesn't stop you out. It may hold, but I don't think it will. It's just got risk written all over that. Yeah, stopped you out. So sideways, looking risky, looking unclear, hell of a risky. I wouldn't be surprised if it bounces, but that to me is a little channel there with a break, lower high. This for me is going to come down, take out any shorts here, and possibly it's kind of acting like a fail break out of a range. Let's have a look, or is it going to trap the shorts as well? See, sometimes it'll do that, come down. Oh God, there's a second entry long now. Trouble is it going to be too congested? Yeah, so it's sideways. It really could do anything or here. Tough one. Could be a fail breakout. Could be two legs down and push higher. It's hard to say, but when it goes like this, it's just so easy to get stuffed. Hate it when it works sideways slow like that. It's horrible. Okay, it has triggered. There's liquidity up here for sure. There'll be some above there, some above there. It makes sense to push up, but you just don't know. That's the trouble when it's like this. If you jumped in there now, which do you think is the best second prop firm? Is the best second prop firm? You mean the second best prop firm? Is that what you mean, bud? If that's what you're asking, mate, I really don't know, to be honest with you. Second best, yeah. See, in my opinion, Apex can't be beaten at the moment. I know there's been issues with payments and all this, but it's nothing to really worry about. What would I do? If I was going to move somewhere else, I hear people talking about Top Step and Bullanox more often than not. Someone's, yeah, I don't think Top Step sounds that bad, to be honest with you. What I will say, yeah, Apex is good, and you ain't going to get 20 accounts. I don't know how many Top Step, is it 5 or 4 with Top Step? You ain't going to get 20 accounts. But, you know, there's no reason why you can't get 20 accounts with Apex, 4 or 5 with Top Step, and then at least you've got sort of technically some more, you know, some more irons in the fire. Could go up, could go down. It could be a fail out. It could be a failure out of this. Let's have that. Could be 2 legs down. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. Hey Edward, how you doing, pal? Apex and Top Step are very. Yeah, the only thing is, I went on Top Step the other day and just had a look. Now I'm assuming the discounts are better than they say on their site, aren't they? Because it said about $49. So. Yeah, it's hard to say. What are we going to get here? Yeah, I looked on their site and I think it said $49 for an evaluation. Yeah, I don't know for $19, but it was their own platform only. Is it called Top Step X or something like that?
Order submitted.
Okay, I'm in a trade, which I don't like. Come on, get me out of it. Oh, it touched me and came back. I don't like it. I don't like it. I want out. Come on, take me out. Take me out. Come on.
Order filled.
Okay, did it work? Yeah, $12. I made a bit of a mistake there. It is working now. Bloody typical, isn't it? What did I get there? $12 after fees. It's just something I didn't like there. Yeah, I'm losing a bit of confidence in this, to be honest with you. Leg down. Did I do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Thomas Wade took this double probability trade on ES. I don't think he's taken anything at the moment. No, he's not taking anything today, but that I can see. It's just, sorry. I'll tell you what it is this looks to me like a head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, head, shoulder, drop. Now, I got into that trade and it started to move and I thought, it just dawned on me, shoulder, head, shoulder. Surely it's a bearish pattern, so I got out of it quick. I got out of it for a tick. I think it was a tick or a couple of ticks, a tick. After fees, $12. You see what I mean about that? Now, I don't tend to trade patterns, but we've got a leg down with a break and a test. This, to me, looks kind of like a bearish pattern. Now, I don't follow patterns. Am I being a bit paranoid there? Shoulder, head, shoulder, down. Is that a bearish pattern? We'll have a look. It went on for a bit anyway, so let's have a look. I got into it about there, didn't I? So I would normally want $100 there, because that'd be 2 accounts. Is it going to work? Looks like it. Yeah, it did. Okay. That's fine. I just had a feeling this looked like head and shoulders pattern. And I panicked. So, okay, better to be safe than sorry. Looks like 2 legs back. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see this though? I got into it and all of a sudden I thought head and shoulders pattern. Now I don't trade them, but I'm thinking if it is, the trouble is once you start trading larger accounts, you start to go into a little world of paranoia, I think, which I think probably fades away after a while. But as soon as I got into it, I just, that pattern almost just jumped out at me. And I start to see these patterns. Some people say head and shoulders, and I don't even notice it sometimes, and they're right. It ends up doing what it's supposed to do. So I just, I thought I won out of it straight away. I got no problems in getting out of a trade. I got 10 accounts, $12 is $120. It's, it's better than a kick in the teeth, isn't it? Better to be safe than sorry, because if I saw that pattern staring me in the face and I decided to stay in and all of a sudden it came down like a tank, I'll kick myself. If there's something on my mind or something I'm concerned about, now, and I know I may be over panicking things because I'm trading a few more accounts, but that'll settle in time. The more important thing is I'm not revenge trading. I haven't revenge traded for about nearly 3 months now. I think it was the first week in March, April, May, June. Yeah, it's been 3 months. I just stopped. So that doesn't concern me now, but I do want to be very cautious in me trading. Once I get my accounts up to a nice, comfortable, over 6,000 or 7,000, then I'll start settling a little bit and that. But the trouble is, when you are trying to build accounts from zero, basically, you probably do get a little bit extra cautious. I'd rather be extra cautious than careless, put it that way. And it's quite a tough day today. There's a lot of, that is absolute mess. That's not telling us nothing, really. It's just random and a mess. It is moving, but it's very random. We've had a couple of legs and, you think, okay, legs finish here. You think you'd at least make an attempt, but we just pushed up. So it's just, it's hard to say, really. But yeah, I don't mind being a little bit extra cautious. If it takes me an extra few weeks or a month, a little bit longer to build these accounts. But when I first started building these, I thought when I get to 2,600, I'm going to just take some money. But I'm not going to, because now I've stopped revenge trading. That doesn't concern me anymore. I've got control, not my emotions. But if I take the money, chances are the accounts are going to get blown and I've got to start all over again, go through all the evaluations, it's a ball ache. So what I think I'm going to do is get the account up to about 3,500 per account and then take 500 and then aim to try and take 500 a month just for the time being. So that'll hopefully give me a $500 payment each month, plus maybe grow the account by an extra $1,000 a month. And then when I get above 5,000, I'll probably take an extra 500. But if I'm taking $2,500 in a month, that's $10,000. It's a fair chunk of money. But I just want to protect these accounts now. I'm getting very cautious with them. See, so I've come far enough now to not want to just take the money and run, because I think it's good to do that when you get your first few payments. You want to get some money. You want to feel like you've achieved something. But now I'm sort of growing a little bit. I don't want to go through it all again. I want to build these and keep them. All it means really is trading just a little bit longer before you make money. But if you can get 20 accounts and slowly over a couple of months, 2-3 months, whatever, grow them to a few $1,000s, nice and carefully. It's a shame just to take a chunk of money and just put them all at risk. This is just so hard to trade. Look at that NQ. You can't trade that. There's kind of a higher low there. You might say 2 legs than a higher low. It may work, but it's also very choppy. So it could do anything, really. So that second entry long, it's a tough one here, really. There was already one trap here there. It is a bit congested. You just don't know whether we're going to have a leg and a leg. And if we do, we could trigger that long and then come down for a second leg. And for me, it's a little bit congested there. And, you know, I've found with experience, even small amounts of congestion can create problems. So is this going to turn down now? If I had have held, it would have been okay. But the trouble is, where's this shoulder? One thing I've noticed about these head and shoulders patterns, sometimes you can have a shoulder here and a shoulder up here. So slow, isn't it? So since the market officially opened, 2:30 time, that's what we had. It's not a lot, really, is it? So, is there something larger? Maybe. Such a slow day. I mean, really, that is not a lot of volume at all, really. We've been going nearly 3 hours. That's very little volume. I mean, realistically, that in 3 hours. Sometimes we polish that off in 45 minutes. So that now, all of a sudden, doesn't look that bad. But at the time, what can you do? Okay, folks, I think I'm done for the day. How long have we been going for? 2 hours and 45 minutes. I usually do 3 hours, but this is just painful. So slow. Volume is so low. I'm not quite sure why. We are heading up to all-time highs again. But last time we've been up there, it went up quite quick. So it's hard to know what's going to happen when we get up here. Go on, mate. Far away. How to pass 1 eval, 2 evals without hitting trend. How to pass 1 eval with 2 evals. Any idea? Trouble is, I mean, something I used to do would be to maybe get 5 contracts, go long with one, go short with another, and try and get $1,500. The trouble is, if it goes up so much, then comes down, and it should draw down. So whatever you do, really, you're gambling it. You're taking a risk. You're going to blow it. And at the moment, they're about $45, so you don't really want to be doing it. If you're going to do stuff like that, really, you want to do it when it's 90% off or 80% off, when it's cheaper. But, you know, it's a gamble. It's a hit and miss. And you can do it with the new. What I'd say is, if you're still quite new, I wouldn't be doing that. I would be trading them as normal as you can. I would say do the riskier stuff when you can keep the PAs, because you want to get the account onto a PA quicker. So that's what I would say. But if you're still quite new, I wouldn't be doing that. I would tend to just, because this does take a lot longer than you think, so I would tend to just focus on one trade after another. As Max says, if it looks like a trade, take it, and you'll learn from it. But, you know, it's just one of those things. Sometimes people tell you just don't listen. I was exactly the same. I found it hard to listen. I wanted to do it my own way. You know, I wanted to take the risks. But the trouble is, the more you do it that way, bud, the more money you're going to throw at this. And it can really get costly. And I think you can slow your learning as well, because there's no point, if you're not experienced, in just trying to gamble all the time and trying to get lucky, because you're not learning anything. You know what I mean? So I would say just take your time. Take your time, get in there. The time to do that is when you've got some skills and you can hold accounts, and you want to get your, your accounts to PA quick to make money. But you know, I would say just take your time. You're never going to make money in this business, gambling, really. You know, especially if you're new. It's a bad habit to get into, really, gambling. I know what it feels like. So I hope that's helped. So that's me done for today, folks. Slow day today, really low volume. You can't really trade that. It's a lot of chop. Nothing there, really. I think that's probably the only one, 2 legs back. But it's congested. There's already a trap, that bull bar. So sometimes if you think I've been trapped to the long side, we're coming down some more. So now we know it's doing this, it all of a sudden looks good, but in hindsight, you know, you don't have the luxury of doing that until it's pushed up. But not an easy day today. So I'm up a little bit, not much. What am I up? Maybe $150, something like that total. But I took that trade, which worked in the end, but I just saw that head and shoulders and just decided to come out of it. But there you go. Not a brilliant day. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit better. We're coming up to all-time highs here, so that may have a reaction. In fact, we can argue we've already been there. Let's have a look. No, we're on it now, I think. So look, if you're carrying on, best of luck. I hope you get something. Sometimes patience is a virtue. Good things come to those who wait. So that is me done for today. I'll be back same time tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe. And I will be back tomorrow. Bye for now.